I'm like, are you really saving daylight, or are you just like winding back the clock and making things confusing for half the year?
Yeah.
Because yeah,
You
I
you
work
started
on EST time.
to alarm you, but you started the recording.
I know. This is part of the cold open. This is how we start daylight saving. What the hell? But Spectre, thank you so much for joining me in this above the table conversation. And this is literally like above the table talk, which we're gonna do because uh, I have had English. I have had so many questions, especially regarding Raz, and Raz was like literally that one planet for God Killer that I have made that I had no idea what I wanted to do with.
Whoa.
Like I was stuck on Raz for so long. The maximum I knew was it was going to be something different. I knew that there was going to be some aspect of dream involved in it, but I had no fucking clue what to do with it. And I'm like the Jesus take the wheel meme. I'm like, somebody please take this away from me. I can't
Yeah,
worry about Raz right now.
that's wild to hear. I can't imagine what you felt when like you uh introduced all the planets to like all the gods, and I was like, I immediately want Ross. I know exactly what I'm gonna do for this planet.
And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much. I didn't want someone to be like, okay, then fine, I'll take Raz then, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, please, please. I'm like, okay, you have a plan, you have an idea what you want to do with it. That's amazing. And consequently, Raz, apart from like Kelowna, was the second most prominent planet in the series
Yeah,
because
that's
actually alongside Kelowna, in fact, because Kelowna, the planet Kelowna, is in three episodes:
hmm
first, second, and last. And so, and Raz is also in three episodes, which is fifth, sixth, and the last episode.
Ooh, no spoilers.
I mean, like this will come after the
Oh,
episode 7, so like people will know that Raz will be part of
oh,
the
gotcha,
final
gotcha.
episode, so we're fine over there in terms of
Cool.
spoilers.
Awesome.
uh but what was like your idea, like what was the thing that immediately stuck out to you, like, okay, I know what I want to do with it?
Um, so yeah, Roz immediately the thing that stood out to me was that one, it was a planet of dreams,
Hmm.
and two, it was a planet you described it as a planet that like had very no like humans and only animals, and uh, of course as like a furry, I immediately ran with those two ideas. Uh, for for dreams, I was thinking specifically like my experience in growing up in America and the American dream, which is how
Hmm.
like a lot of the ideas and world building for Roz first happened, and then the idea of like, oh, this planet has mostly animals is where I like was able to incorporate like uh ideas from like the furry fandom and then Chinese mythology with like the Yao Guai and like how animals cultivate over like thousands of years to be able to achieve like a more human form. And yeah, that's how like I started incorporating like a bunch of stuff, which is kind of like I we got like Roz and like the Taiwanese inspiration as well.
And I think when we were divvying up the planets, I think Adrian was the GM at the time, and both you and Adrian came out like, hey, it's going to be underground, or is it's going to be kind of like below ground kind of a
Mm.
situation. And I was like, oh, there are going to be two below ground planets. Interesting. What do we? Okay, so there's the two underground. Okay, as long as they're both wildly different, I'm fine with it because I know. I mean, like it's fine to have underground planets, but I'm like, okay, there has to be a reason for it. So, but yeah, for Dozak, which is hell, it was like Adriana and Mish were like, okay, people are mining uh,
Hmm.
for gems. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. The why it will be underground in that sense. And I love the Yagoi aspect of Raz because it it's something different which sets which sets it apart from the rest of the planet because everyone everywhere in the rest of the galaxy comes from Kelowna. That's where the humans are from.
Ooh.
Like in the paradise, in hell, because those are two afterlife planets. So those lives have to originate somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And those originate in Kelowna. And Raz is the only other planet which already had life. You know, I think it is the only planet which already had life before gods came into the picture.
That is
That's
really cool.
and that's not something I thought of when you introduced those aspects of it, and you sent me that doc, and I was like, holy shit. Even I was like, okay, Spectre has prepared so much, I have to do at least some more work to justify all the different episodes.
For sure. Did I use all of it? No, but it was some of it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I hope so.
but at least I think it informed the I think the amount of lore and things that you wrote, it did inform the session that you had.
Yeah.
I feel right, even though like even I didn't get to use some of the things that in fact, a lot of the things that I wrote in my Kelowna episodes and the Cradle episodes because of the choices that were made. But I had those choices, and I could easily jump into it, without having to worry too much about, okay, now I have to prepare something. Okay, how do we do this? And I could incorporate some NPC from somewhere to, if things were going wildly different,
Mhm.
in a way that would kind of derail the campaign, I could bring in some NPCs from other parts. So at least I had those written out as kind of like a safety net.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And I think it was after I had recorded episode 1 or episode 3. And for the audience, almost all of the episodes were recorded out of order except for the last two episodes.
Yeah,
Everything was except for the first and the last two episodes, everything was recorded out of order.
yeah.
All the rest
The
of the
good
episodes,
thing is
all.
I got to watch with the audience for like throughout God Killer Qismat, but the thing that I was worried about was like, will this remain consistent? No, but it all
Eh,
worked out because
yeah,
everyone's amazing, honestly.
I mean, like, yeah, it kind of works in a way. uh Also, what was I gonna say about it? Yeah, there were a few things that I introduced in the lore after I had done a recording with Aziz, and I was like, okay, all the souls who die in Kelowna either go to heaven or hell.
Mm.
Where do people from Raz go? They go to the spectral river, the wormhole in which the fairies live. That's where the afterlife of Raz takes place. And I had actually
Ooh.
uh, it didn't make it into the final cut of episode 3, but Kala has a little interaction uh, with how do you pronounce it? A tiger UI.
Uh,
I'm How do I
uh,
pronounce it? I'm
Lao
butchering it.
Lao Huyao Huyao.
Huyao.
Yeah.
So she sees. uh, Huyao. I'm gonna butcher it. I'm gonna. Can I say tiger person? I'm gonna say tiger person.
Yeah, you can say Tiger Yao or like Tiger. Yeah,
Tiger. A tiger. She kind of meets a tiger Yao, who has built a uh, their own kind of piece of heaven uh in the wormhole. It's like
I
you're
love
going through a
that.
wormhole, and she sees a section which looks like of part of a forest,
Hmm.
and the tiger Yao is doing some hunting,
That's so cool.
and they're both their eyes meet, and the tiger Yao just does like shh, and Kalaga's like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah,
uh
I probably
so
would too.
sorry.
I probably would too.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah,
I
and
love
like,
tigers, I'm like,
because
no,
he was in a
you
hunting
go.
outfit, like holding a spear with a bone on his back, and he was like doing some hunting in his afterlife. And I'm like, Kala was like, I was like, you know what you do? I'm going. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
this way.
yeah, yeah.
So that was kind of like the pieces of heaven, the in the afterlife that people from Raz carve in the river, because that's their afterlife. So that didn't make it into the recording, but it did make it into the game, which still exists. So yeah, that was one little bit of lore I added to that.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Uh, but what was it about? Because in episode 6, I saw about there was another city before Dream Seeking City,
Oh yeah,
uh, which was, I don't remember if you named it or not, but it was kind of like gassed out. I don't. It's not implied if people were murdered or not, but like dreams and hopes were like completely eradicated to power
yeah,
Shaka.
yeah. The I think the original idea it might have gotten lost in translation, but the original idea was that in in these documents they were Mochotang is implied to be like the last city of Yaoguai and Raz, and then there were previous cities that were filled with Yaoguai that were then like uh fumigated uh to essentially destroy those cities.
Hmm.
Uh it was again to like kind of like it was again like a showcase of like how Shaka treats like the Yaoguai of Raz, seeing
Mhm.
them like nothing more as like pests. Essentially, that's why like the choice of like destruction came through like smoke and fumigation and poison, such stuff like that. And I think originally the idea was that the smoke would also be utilized on Mengqiucheng to eventually like destroy that as well if like Mingli didn't do anything. Uh I think it would have been a sad alternate universe for sure.
Oh no. I also love the fact that like Shaka is just colonial asshole. Uh,
I'm so glad that came across for sure, and because I got to see that in like the you got to portray like this like other like side that's like slightly more human, but also slightly was really I like I really liked the kind of like insult
the kind of what?
the kind of incel vibes he had towards Kala because I like mentioned to you in like the character idea was that like he had like a heroic savior complex and to
Oh.
like be fit with the like colonial asshole part of him uh
Mhm.
and
Oh.
yeah yeah
And the not the weird part, but like when coming up. when Assis and I had sat down and written the character, there were different covenants that Kala would have with different gods. With Shaka, it was a covenant of lust
That's
because
wild.
he had came to her. He had come to her in her dream, and it was kind of like a weird thing, like you know, your imagination of someone, and then actually seeing them and being like, oh, because she had met him in a dream, and she had cut off her arm for him in her dream when he had met him when she had met him, but with seeing him in person, uh it like completely like flipped the script in her mind, at least from my perspective,
Hell,
which is like, oh
it,
my god, you fucking catfished me.
oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect explanation. Shaka catfish. Carla.
I mean, like, yeah. Also, there was like for episode 5, at least, when Kala goes to Raz. I At that point, episode 6 hadn't been recorded, uh, or it had been recorded, and it there was just like way too little time for me to prepare for episode 5 recording. And I was like, you know what? I told us, he's like, let's not go into the night market.
probably, probably a good choice.
Probably for the, really like probably for the best. Uh,
Yeah.
and I during the recording I forgot the name of like the night market. I just call it the city. Uh, and she was like, "Oh, the city," or in Hindi it's called sheher. Oh, the sheher. We're not going to the sheher. Okay, we're just not going there. Like, no, please don't make me do that. So we stayed above ground, the wilderness covered thing, and we see firsthand experience of Shaka, uh, not having control on the planet,
Yeah.
because I mean, like, Shaka is a god; he should have control over the planet, right? But he doesn't, and even the elephants that Kala kind of sees, he says that I mean, like, he brought them for Kala to see, just to like give a little bit of connection. But even he can't control them.
Mm.
And in fact, we even see it in like at the beginning of the episode, where we see uh, another Targaryen, meet Kala, and that was originally intended to be Tubao, but I think
Yeah.
I confused Tubao and Huangchong. So
Ah.
uh so like, yeah, I read the document, and I in like confused between the two, and I'm like, I role played it, and I'm like, and then I watched your episode. I'm like, okay, I there was a bit of a confusion. Let this be a different thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that kind of works out.
It does for sure. Like I maybe spoilers for the, but I also we like kind of circle back to him like eventually too,
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
kind of
Which
implied.
implied. Uh, and one of the ways that I people won't really catch on to it, but one of the ways I try to do it is by using the same stock footage of Cat's Eyes.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You, I remember you telling me this.
I'm like,
Such a cool detail though.
that's the only connective tissue that could make people believe, like, okay, it's the um same person. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was like my idea of what Raz was going to be, which is just literally surface level.
which ooh, that's kind
Literally.
of funny
So
because your episode was all about Roz's surface, and then my episode was mostly about Roz's underground. So it
you
worked out.
yeah, it worked out. You went deep into it, and I just explored on it on the surface level. That's quite a literal, in a very literal way. uh,
Yeah.
and I just finished editing episode 7, and I realized that Jack forgot how he got to the cradle.
um, I think I unfortunately I did the thing where I confused like the comet that is like
uh-huh
signaling the herald of the end as like the
uh-huh
river, and like so
uh-huh
like I think what happened was that like I like described like the comet like giving Jack an opportunity to explore other worlds, and like Jack said yes, and he like hitched a ride on the comet, which like it it does break the pre-established norms, but as a heretic I think it also fits perfectly for Jack to like instead of like going through like the wormhole or like sacrificing something, he just literally rides the comet of inevitable destruction to the cradle.
yeah. Oh, you're gonna kill everything? Can I hitch a ride? uh yeah, but that also works out because uh Qismat, who is the comet, says like, I brought you all here, and she was coming to kill Faris, but Mingli did the job beforehand. So that's like, she acknowledges that. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I was going to kill an enemy, but he's dead now. It doesn't matter to me. That place does not matter to me anymore. She's kind of acknowledges that in a way. Um, but also considering that uh, Jack or Ming Lee tells Jose that I went to sleep and I woke up here. I'm like, that also kind of works because Jack, or rather Ming Lee, just won't spell out the truth of how he got here, or how, uh,
Yeah.
because he's going to be like naturally protective but also suspicious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just woke up and I got here. Why the fuck should I tell you? Who are you?
None of your
I
business.
literally just met you, and this is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, I just
uh,
met you and it's crazy. But here's my number. No, I can't say Charlie Ray Jepsen.
uh, so that happens in the episode, and literally the entirety of episode 7, the entire length of the episode is the amount of time which passes in the in game. It's literally an hour and a half. It just bang, 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 things happen.
That's
Like,
wild. I'm going to be so excited to watch that episode. Oh my god.
it's like, people generally assume, right? Like, uh, okay, either a long time passes in a session or a very short time passes in a session. Um, but when I edited it through and through, I'm like, okay, almost like give or take 10-15 minutes. Uh, like almost the exact amount of time passes in episode 7, from when we see Kismet till the end of uh, till the end of the episode. And rest in peace, Jose. Rest in peace. Uh,
Rest in peace.
so, and like, they literally just all the players, they just meet. They have to do something together. They barely get, like, unfortunately, they barely get interaction. They just they just brought together, and like, they're like, oh my god, there's 100 feet goddess on a torture rack. uh there's another 100 feet goddess with a sword in her hand, hot. But what the fuck are we supposed to do now? uh so it was kind of like that. uh but yeah, it was fun. It was fun to, I hadn't done something like that, especially doing a couple of mechanics. which is meant for a duet game, and
Mm.
being in a game with three people for that, it was something.
For
And
sure.
and I I think C told us that there might be mechanics in the final game of God Killer where more people can participate. So
Ooh.
rulings for that, but it's still being worked on. It's still being workshopped, and we're still using like a lot of playtest materials anyway.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so it might or might not wake up into the final cut. So hey, we got to play it, and incredibly grateful to Transplanar RPG, by the way.
I'm a huge
For
fan for sure. For sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Literally, I even though I've had conversations with them, uh, with Connie and C, like whenever like I see them, in my notifications, not in my feed, in my notifications, I'm like, oh my god, I just got a little bit of starstruck,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just started Arc 4. I just uh like Connie's he's a fucking master storyteller.
For sure. Oh my goodness.
I mean, like I watched it. I'm like amazing, and uh, see, obviously, second to none. I just finished listening to Interrogation, which is I don't know if it's like a true sequel, but it explores Rune after the end of after the God Killer First Blood.
Whoa. Is that like I don't think I've seen that anywhere on YouTube. Is that like a podcast
I
or like
I think it's a podcast because I tried to search it on YouTube. I couldn't find it. Uh,
yeah.
I found it because somebody sent it to me. Let me check if it's somewhere else because like and Seed is as a dramaturge, they are amazing.
Yeah.
They helped us a lot at for Qismat as well, and just just sort of guiding us. Like
Yes.
how do you prepare for this? I'm just doing a quick check. Huh. I don't know. I will find where interrogation is and send it to you because I can't find it at the moment. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, uh, great help for that. And you will see all the cameos in episode 7 when it comes out.
The
Spectre,
cat.
you haven't seen it, but there's a lot of them, and oh my god, just to get them all together to do it. I'm like just sending emails left, right, and center, just hoping that somebody would answer it, and a lot of people did, and they were like, that's what I love about TTRPG community,
Yeah.
and the AP community. Like they want, if they like your project, they really want to help out, or if they believe in your project, they are more than willing to help out.
For sure,
uh,
for sure.
Things for that. So yeah, uh, I think you have finally caught up to all of God Killer, right?
Yes, I have up to episode yeah, episode 6.
What did you think? What was oh, well, what did you think of the series?
What do I think of this series? I think
You don't have to
that
glaze me or anything, Spectre. You don't have to say, "Oh man, you did such an amazing job." I'm like, oh no, I did not. Oh, oh shucks. But you can honestly like give me an honest take. Like, what did you think of the series in terms of like uh, just your take?
yeah, I honestly I was like completely mesmerized and hooked by your episodes, especially like
I told you
this.
not to glaze.
I know, but like you drop. How can I can't. You drop the biggest bombshells ever, and I'm just like, wow. You Colin's brain's dead. Oh, she doesn't have a piece of Kamsa in her. She has a piece of Qismat. Oh, and just like seeing like you take this opportunity to just like play Shaka and like explore like a part of this character that I don't get to explore in like my own episode, and that like kind of like sort of deepens his character and like kind of really uh I don't know, it's like really good. And then I remember Arsene like was really worried about his episode with Ron's, but his like was really good too. Like he like Bog was this like very orderly planet,
Yeah.
and like Ron's like came to like search for like her mother, and like that whole theme of like starting with like hope and then becoming disillusioned over time was like I feel it was a really good story. And then uh oh no, Tomas's episode for like Dozak, it was like a really it was like a very interesting choice. I feel like because it was like set up it was set up in like everyone's mining, everyone's like downtrodden, and like Jose is like a coward, but his divine power and strength comes from like song and art, and
Hmm.
ultimately it was like forgiving La Llorona that like was able to like be like the climax instead of just like a complete like destruction and like rebuilding in the case of like Raz. So yeah, I think it's like it was like a the episode in Dozak and like the episode in Raz kind of like contrast each other in like those
Yeah.
two ways, where like they're both underground, they both have a population that's downtrodden, and like I think Dozak, it wasn't always that way, whereas in
Those are,
Raz it was always meant to be that
yeah,
way, because like
yeah.
Shaka imposed himself on it, and that's why Shaka needed to go, and La Llorona could be forgiven.
No, for for Dosek, it was the plan was obviously hell, but La Llorona or Hanan wasn't meant for that planet. She was meant for Bag, which was paradise.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it was said. Like it was her garden was taken away from her, and she was sent here. So Khwahish Desiree, who died in episode 2 in Arsene's episode, that was like that wasn't her planet. She also took it uh, from La Llorona,
Wow.
and
That
that's also one of the reasons why Qismat spares La Llorona,
hell yeah.
because she has also gone through the same thing, because Hamza killed Qismat and took her planet away from her.
Yeah.
So there's like a parallel going on. There's like a kind of like kinship between Hanan. Oh, sorry, I keep saying both their names, but there's a kinship between La Llorona and Qismat in
Yeah.
that sense. And that connection, it came after episode four's recording because of, uh, I think, because no, not after the recording, but I think maybe before the recording, when I saw Thomas's notes for La Llorona, and why she looks like like a kind of like a plant creature. And then I
Yeah.
made the connection, like, okay, then this might have happened. And this is the fucking beauty of actual plays and TTRPGs, is that you can always make shit up late at a later date and make sense.
Yeah. Improv is so much fun, to be honest, in that way. Like,
I'm like, I don't have everything planned. I have concepts of a plan.
yeah. And you
I'm
just
like,
figure it out as you go, or like
yeah, like
that's
I have I have an idea, like, okay, like, maybe I knew that Lyrona, or her name, I didn't give her the name Lyrona. It was Adrian who gave her the name Lyrona from the
Mm.
myth. It from my side, it was Hanan. Uh, just like for Shaka, it was Faris.
Yeah.
Uh, and uh, I knew that Hanan was gonna be like baby girl vibes. I'm like, baby girl, I need you to. I want to protect you, baby girl. Uh, I, you're so sad. You're so sad. You don't want people to suffer, but you're being made to you're being made to oppress. You don't want to
Mm.
oppress people, but you're being made to oppress people. That was my one direction, and then they took it from there, which was like, oh,
Ah,
like, I'm like, your their interpretation. I was like, oh, I love it, and that's why, like, I told you guys, it's like I have certain ideas for it, and I just want you to like go fucking crazy with it.
hell
Uh,
yeah. I
just
That was
I
like a gift in like hindsight. I was like at the time it was like, oh my goodness, I there's so many directions this could go, and I don't know what to do. But in like hindsight, I think that was like the perfect gift for like God Killer Qismat and to like be a
Mhm.
part of the project. I I've honestly been thinking a lot about my episode and like at at the time I was also like similar to Arson, I was very nervous about my episode, especially since I didn't see the edited episode. So I was like, is it not God Killer enough? Uh did I accidentally make like a parody or satire of God?
See, there's the thing. There is so I mean, like, in comparison with a lot of other games, um, there isn't a vast library of God Killer actual plays, right?
Yeah.
We
I
have
yeah.
a few by Blackwater, obviously Transplaner, and we
Mhm.
have a couple of one shots, and then there's anthology series by Tender Vicious. No, not by Tender Vicious. Was it by Tender Vicious? I forget whom, but there's another anthology series of God
Mm.
Killer. I'm forgetting the name. I posted about them, and then I forgot about them promptly.
Oh no.
I am forgetting the name. I was it Dino Tales? I think
It
I'm getting so confused right now. But there is another anthology series, and then this one. So
mm.
you can't really go wrong with a thing like, is it God Killer enough? Because I want to see, I also now want to see a God Killer series which is comedic in nature. Even the
Oh,
God Killer itself is a game which is like, very, you know, heretical, uh,
yeah.
and very, I mean, like, it just going against the grain of, established religious norms and everything. Um, but no, whatever. I'm rambling now. But yeah, I do like. I feel like there's so much more to explore in terms of how God Killer can be presented in an actual
Hell
play form,
yeah. For sure.
and even in a home game form. I feel like there's so many ways to do God Killer. But the important thing would be to have like that co-building, co-authorship thing. You know, uh, I think personally, from my perspective, that you guys, your players, and me and Asis obviously included, like, the co-authorship has been fire. It's been so good. I've enjoyed it so much being
Yes,
co-authors with you guys.
for
Uh,
sure.
it's been like amazing. There were some things that I interpreted in a different way, like Huang Chong. I think I interpreted in her in a different way than you intended.
Yeah. Let's talk about uh the because you drew like the animatics and like I was obviously like envisioning them as like full on like furries with like uh
Mhm.
with like the animal head and then the human body. Uh, mostly, mostly like thematic wise, because
Mm,
a lot of Raz's themes were about like imperialism, colonialism, and dehumanization. Uh, I felt like furries was like one way to like kind of like show that theme of like
mm,
literally, because literally Shaka was like the most human and the only one that looked the most
yeah.
human, like sitting at the top. Uh, and then everyone else just does not look as human as him, and yet are probably more human than him. Uh, so I wanted that like that to be like one of the dichotomies, and then I think the animatics for sure also were like, because they were like I kind of I do really like your interpretations for sure of like Kwang Cho and landlord
I only,
uncle.
I only show like two of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no, I do show Black Bear.
yeah.
Yeah, which I think
Well,
he was more on in line with of like a furry interpretation than Huang
for
Chong, I
sure.
feel.
I, although I will have to say I was floored about like seeing Huang Chong's like tiger form and then like Wheelie and Tuba on her back, and I'm like, oh, this is so good. I love it so much.
I tried to channel all all my anime knowledge just to see like how things are drawn, because I knew like expression in anime is something which is unparalleled. Like they do it so well in
Mm.
anime, the way things are expressed, because they just accentuate it in a way that Disney never could.
Oh yeah, like just like getting to like the essential core of it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So like that's what like I try to do emulate. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. The thing I took, I didn't draw that many animatics, but like the thing I took inspiration from was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because
Ooh.
like in one frame they could be like serious, like serious drawing of something's going on, and then there'll be a comedic line and the artwork will completely change.
Yes, yes. Especially with like Alphonse, like usually
Yeah,
he's drawn like very detailed, and then when it
like
gets to like
his
a comedic
armor,
moment, he's like
he's
gets
just like a
super simplified.
it's
He's
just like
like a
a few curved lines.
like a blob.
Yeah, just just like a blob. So, that's what I try to interpret for, especially like Ming Lee's and Tuva's expression.
Oh my.
Tuva smiling and just like seeing Wong Chang. Like,
Yeah.
Wong Chang is saying, and I'm just gonna transform back and I'm gonna be naked. And Ming Lee is like, ah, and Tuva's like,
Like
sure.
but he's like he's fine with this, honestly.
And like,
It does not
good for you.
bother him.
Unbothered.
Unbothered. Where's
Uh,
unbothered in his blade moisturizer? What was that? What was that internet thing? Had something to do with like a capybara sitting in water or something.
unbothered, moisturized, and something.
Something like that. Something like
Yeah.
I don't think that
So,
made it to the final cut, by the way.
uh, you know what? Since we have like episode 8 to go, and we'll see Huang Shang again, and we see Huang Shang as a younger person in episode 6, as an older person, maybe it's like her appearance may have developed. That's
Yeah,
something we could explore.
for sure. I think I especially like mentioned that like the marks of life have been left on her as she's like
Hmm.
gotten older.
Hmm. Yeah, so like, and also I like the theme like of things changing, because like I prefer things to change over time. appearances change over time. Obviously, like that's the only thing that's the change is the only thing which is constant. So, like Huang Chang going from a more kind of a more humanoid looking figure to a more furry looking figure, I think would also like be close to what what the vision of Raz will like is it kind of be like a sign of recovery.
Yeah, I like that idea too. Yeah.
See, guys, we are building worlds right here, right now on the podcast. That's how we do it.
Welcome
That's how we love to do it.
to World Building 202.
to, like my like once you said that you know about you envisioned Huang Chang to be different. I imagined it was more in more furry looking. So my interpretation was that was considering that Shaka has been here for so long and has been
Mm,
trying to gain control and impose his control over such a long period, and considering that Ming Li also looks more humanoid than others.
mm,
Right. Once you see the artwork, Ming Li also looks more humanoid. Obviously, Ming Li has furry features, but he also looks more human than other residents of Raz, who are maybe more closer to who they are. Uh, so it also kind of like hmm, there are layers to unpack here. I'll be quick about it.
for sure.
Mainly coming from a royal family. Now,
Mm,
whenever an oppressor comes in and tries to take control of whatever they has, the first kinship that they form, rather than oppressing them, the first kinship that they form is with the royal family or the ruling class, right?
mm,
Because through the ruling class they are able to control, or at least my interpretation of through the ruling class they control the rest of the population.
I
And because of Shiaka's you know control, maybe the ruling class themselves eventually started to look more human like, or rather
and then the
humanoid.
and then with like how like a fashion and like appearance trends, like a lot of common
Yeah.
folks adopt uh the the higher class of fashion and mannerisms and tastes. Yeah,
uh,
that's
and uh, and also a few things like uh, a lot of people and I read this recently, like uh, sometimes the people who revolt most are ones who are able to read more into it because they have had the privilege of reading more into like things of like oppression that are going on. If you think about like the French Revolution, that came about because the ruling class was starting to get affected.
yeah.
And like even like some of the world leaders that you see who stand up for a working class also come from a place where they have had the privilege of looking at things from a different perspective as a person maybe from a different class. Not all the time, obviously, not all the
Yeah.
time, but at least some of the time we have
It
seen. So it
yeah.
kind of like
I,
makes sense.
yeah, I'd say it would be it's important for people sometimes to be able to like imagine a better life, and sometimes it
Yeah,
starts with living a better life, well, I find,
yeah.
in comparison.
And sometimes it helps to like Ming Lee constantly checks his privilege. I was like, I don't have a job. How can I pay? And why are you so like? He tells his like landlord uncle like, you're so fucking you're generous, and he's like, we have to look out for each other, and like that also like affects Ming Lee in a way,
Yeah.
uh,
It
and
yeah.
he
It's
uses his privilege to kill
yeah.
Shaka.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like interesting that like originally I was going to have the landlord be like more evil because like real landlords are more evil, but I think to like stay consistent with all the themes of like every like NPC embodies like an archetype they can't fulfill. Like Huang Chong was supposed to be like the bodyguard, and she and immediately pointed out she was bad at bodyguarding. Landlord Uncle is not like the evil landlord
Yeah.
archetype. He's actually like uh the like more like generous because like he I don't know if this was mentioned in the episode, but like it's implied that he like lost like a lot of his divine power as he like grew older, and
Yeah.
then like Tubal, he was like he's like a soldier, so he should be like the masculine ideal, but instead he wears like a bunny girl costume, and absolutely serves and slays, uh, and then
Slays. Definitely slays. Literally. Yeah. Definitely does.
yeah, and even like Ming Li, who is like is I would argue is Ming Li good at God killing? Yes, but also like no in a way, but also like you don't
Mingli is like
expect like
Mingli is the brat prince.
yeah
Very brat
you don't
prince vibes.
Brad Pitt, but yeah you don't expect like the son of a like powerful family to be like on his own in an
Yeah.
apartment broke AF.
Yeah. And like, yeah, yeah. And then suddenly, you know what? I'm gonna kill God.
And this also even applies to Shaka because uh Shaka takes on the form of like a traditional wuxia hero,
Hmm.
uh, and wuxia as like and like he's absolutely not a wuxia hero, and it's also like because like wuxia originated kind of the history of wuxia is that it originated in like Japan with like Bukyo, and then like got adopted into like Chinese culture as like wuxia, and then both China and Japan were like colonizing forces on Taiwan.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I thought about this a lot, honestly.
I mean,
So
like,
like,
there are so many layers to unpack in like in this. And obviously, like, I come from a different perspective to that. You come from a different perspective.
mhm.
You know how things are like how things are interpreted, and like I love it. Uh, uh, what when watching the other things, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but when watching the other episodes, were there other interpretations that you had, like, oh, is this implying a certain thing, or is this saying something different? uh
Hmm.
were there moments like that for you?
For I unfortunately did not take too many notes on Godkiller Qismat, so if like I forget anything, um,
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
i
um,
i forget half the things in my own games, so it's fine.
yeah, I think it was. Hmm. Was it? I
I need you to come at it from a lawyer perspective.
oh, I might not. I'm not a lawyer yet, but
Inshallah.
okay. I don't think it's necessarily like a different interpretation, but I was like, for fun, what if I distilled each episode into like a single work theme that
Uh-huh.
like was
Yeah.
like I so let's see. I did write a little bit.
Oh, you did?
I think I did write a little bit. So I think yeah, I did write a little bit. So like I think I split it into like God and then planet. Sorry, God Killer slash God and then planet. So like I wrote for Kala. I think her like the one word that I would describe her like art. I think it's like I put like self respect because it's true. Like she had enough like respect for herself to know that sacrificing herself was not the right option, even if like Kelowna would like act very violently towards her. And I think Kelowna
Yeah.
as a planet like explored zealotry a lot.
Yeah.
For Rance, definitely disillusionment was like uh the big thing. And oh right, she got cursed uh for a long time until like she got into like near like Kwahish or Desiree's garden.
Yeah. And yeah,
And yeah.
she violates a curse that I think her curse was that she can't touch beautiful things or something like that. I might be misremembering it, but yeah, she touches like a flower and the whole field kind of like dies. The whole field of flower dies.
Maybe, maybe to like fulfill that maybe my alternate interpretation is that like maybe that's Ronce's, because Ronce is like very butch. Maybe it's like maybe the curse was like her feelings towards femininity. Like every like she wasn't like as like someone that's like not traditionally feminine. It feels like
Mhm.
touching it would like bring disaster until like she realizes. I don't know. I could be bullshit. I'm sorry, but I think that's another way to look at it. And then for the planet Bog, I think the consistent was like order and like especially with like the
Order
wood
and artificial beauty.
artificial beauty, especially with like the wood
Yeah.
police, the wood coppers.
Yeah.
Let's see. For Jose, I put like I guess I put courage,
Mm.
and that seems like very simple, but it was like it was him starting as a coward and then like slowly like
Yeah,
realizing
I mean,
that like
like courage. I mean, like even for a lot of things, like we say now, it's like, oh, it takes a lot of courage to do this. Like, yeah, because like courage is a like difficult thing to muster up to do
it
something.
is
It's like
for
very
sure.
difficult because it's like you're like literally risking yourself, your life, or or whatever it is to do
Yeah,
something. Obviously, that takes courage, and like it's difficult to muster it up.
for sure.
I mean, like it's
And
easy to say in a TTRPG sense, like, okay, I'm a hero and I can muster up this courage to do this, but to actually explore that, I think
yeah,
by being a coward, like Apollo does a fantastic job with that. I feel.
I love that. Dozak, I put suffering because it's hell, but also a lot of the suffering like informs like character and the story. And then for La Llorona, I put forgiveness as well. And
Mm.
for the interesting words, my episode with like for Mingli, I like debated a lot, but I think I ultimately came up with reckoning for Mingli in that like this was like a long time coming towards Faris.
Mm. Yeah.
And then for like and for like the world of like Raz, I actually put connection because I think the most alternate interpretations I have of like God Killer Qismat is unfortunately my episode because I did a bunch. I GM'd it and played it with Jack, so I had a lot of time and I had a lot of time to think about it. So really chose heretic, uh, which means like he is like he does not believe in the dominant truths of the cradle. And like one
Mm.
interpretation is that he does not believe in like the power structure of
Mm.
uh of of like the imperial court and Faris slash Shaka. But another interpretation is that like he also he also doesn't believe in like the cradles the like the like oh no my brain he doesn't believe in the one of the dominant cradles truth in like connection with other Yaguai is how like because like really at like the beginning he like kind of rejects connection at like most points aside
Mm.
from like his landlord he rejects connection with Huang Chong and he rejects connection with Tubao
Mm.
and I guess another alternate interpretation is like Tubao represents like a younger version of Mingli that was more hopeful and
Oh.
more uh courageous, and yet also more naive and stupid. And when he like when he dies at the end, like a part of that is lost forever, which is like very sad. In terms of like, ooh, I just want some more things before we run out of time. Uh, Huang Chong's name is kind of like was definitely inspired like by my like complicated relationship to parents, because like her name Huang Chong, the characters, the first character Huang is like yellow, and then the second character Chong is like respect, or like, for example, like chongbai someone is to like really respect someone. So like her name at first sounds like uh just literally translates to yellow respect, but like because like Chinese is like because
Complicated.
Chinese humor, a lot of Chinese humor is rooted in puns. Huang Chong also sounds like the word for locust, and that like has the implication of like, does uh Uncle Landlord see her as like a loc as a locust, like, or does like, did Huang Chong like, does Huang Chong internalize that feeling of being like a locust to her adopted father? Uh
Mm, that's interesting.
yeah, that's interesting. I did not get to explore it at all. I'm so sorry, Huang Chong. I did you dirty.
It does not matter because Hong Chong does get to grow old.
She does. She does get to grow old. Oh, there. One last.
Yeah,
I have to say this.
say it.
I had so when you kill a god in God Killer, if you like overkill or like fail, I don't know if it's fail. I only remember if you overkill, like the god puts a curse on you. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was really hoping Jack would like get cursed by Shaka, because uh especially if Mingli was going to leave Roz, I think the my idea for like Shaka's curse on Mingli was that he would slowly lose his ability to speak the divine tongue, which would be Mandarin. And I think that would have been super interesting, not just to like let Jack speak English along with everyone else at the next episode, but like during the epilogue, if he returned, he wouldn't be able to communicate as well in Mandarin
Uh,
with everyone else, and that would like capture the experience of being like diaspora.
oh, damn. That would have been. Oh, that's cool. Oh,
Yeah,
that would have been crazy. But hey, the
that would.
dice got.
The dice did not want to tell that story, but hell yeah,
I
I
mean,
had
like,
that prepared.
you had that prepared, and that's half of it at least.
Half, yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I have anything other than that mostly to discuss. I think we generally touched upon mostly all of it, right?
Hell
I
yeah.
think so.
I think yeah.
Uh,
I guess
yeah.
maybe another thing that I wanted to explore
Huh?
with Braz is like this idea of like dream versus reality, because it's I like dichotomies. I like subverting expectations. So like the idea of this dreamlike world literally eating your hopes,
Oh
like
yeah.
make it is so soul crushingly realistic, and almost all of the characters are like extremely grounded and in like in like what would be like a normal human interaction, even though they're like Yaogwai that are like thousands of years old. So I just like that contrast and dichotomy. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like, also the thing of crushing one's hopes to build somebody else's dreams. That's, I mean, like, that's, when I surprised myself by saying that because I like, oh my
that
God, Aman,
hard.
that's too,
That line was so hard. Oh my god, I
I mean,
loved it
like,
so much.
that's too real.
That is true. But hey, I literally put American Dream in like one of the inspirations for Roz, because
Uh,
it is like the planet of dreams, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
I need this experience to put this experience in here because like
yeah,
what else?
love that.
What am I doing if I don't? Yeah.
Of course. Well, with that, we come to the end of our above the table talk, an episode almost as long as the game itself.
That's
or
so
the
funny.
that is quite funny actually. But Spectre, thank you so much for GMing for God Killer Qismat. It was amazing having you as a GM.
I'm
And
so happy
thank
I
you
got to do
so
it.
much for all the other help. Thank you so much for drawing Tuba. Thank you so much for the help with subtitles. More coming your way for the epilogue, by the way.
Unfortunately,
um,
but I'll do my best now. I got this. I
uh,
believe.
and yeah, we'll see you guys in the epilogue. And after that, maybe I'll share a blooper reel. Who knows?
Hell yes, we love bloopers.
All right, bye guys.
Bye guys, thank you.